evening. Just can't make it right. Green screen fun.
Yeah. All right, looks like YouTube should be rolling. Hopefully. And we are live and on the air on YouTube and Twitch. So welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. It is a lovely Thursday afternoon. We're mainly here to provide you with support and answer any questions about our products and services. If you do have any of those, you can feel free to shout out in our chat, which you can get to at foolishtechshow.com. And we'll be more than happy to interrupt whatever we may be talking about at the time to focus on that instead. Otherwise, we are going to fill the air with just random shop talk, and you're more than welcome to participate in that. Looks like Phoenix has already got some links to talk about.
No doubt.
And just keep in mind that when we do that, any opinions expressed are the opinions of that individual that expressed them, not of the company itself. So with that,
Particularly when it's me or Michael talking.
there you go. So, how's everybody's Thursday going?
Well, thank you.
It's going pretty good.
Good, good. So, Phoenix has got a new version of Easy to boot out. Yahoo reveals 32 million Yahoo accounts were attacked with that cookie forging attack. They had like the golden cookie that allowed people just to. Man, there's been so many ways compromised against Yahoo. It's crazy.
Hence the reason for their devaluation in price in their deal when they were sold.
Yeah, I can't believe anybody still wants to buy them.
I can't believe anybody still cares about Yahoo.
That's me. Same here. I've seen it set as home pages though. So, actually, that's a good question. What did everyone use before Google?
I think I used, I did use Yahoo, but is it Locus? What was it? It was really old.
I don't actually remember at all, except for Dogpile. I used Dogpile before Google, and I actually, even after Google, I got way better results for like tech-related things through Dogpile. But they didn't have the speed ultimately when it came down to it of Google servers and a number of search results sometimes when it didn't find something. But Google was very impressive at the time because it was way fast, you know, not just for the result, but even just going to the page. I don't know, before that, I had used Yahoo, and I'm not proud of it, but I don't remember what the go-to was.
Excite, I know I've used Excite before, and I don't remember popularly using Alta Vista, but certainly that was a bigger player. And then I guess the other one was, you know, and I probably just actively didn't use this just because of its AOL ties, but the web crawler that they had. A lot of people used Lycos. I don't.
Yeah, Lycos. That was the one I was trying to say.
Lycos!
That's what I used, yeah.
And
Yahoo was really one of the first that was like easy to remember.
Well, they had the pages laid out too in categories, and that's how a lot of my web browsing used to be before Google. Was I would link follow.
Yeah, I would too, yeah.
I would just link follow into incredible places, and I'm like, how does this world exist? This is amazing.
I used Ask.
So then I had the categories to start that link following off. That was awesome. Places don't link enough anymore.
They're actually still in existence.
Ask.com, did you guys use that? I used that too. That was pretty early on because I guess Google.com search didn't start till what, 98?
It was late.
Yeah, it was like after 2000.
It was late, but it was revolutionary.
Isn't Ask responsible for the Ask toolbar that's spyware, malware?
Well, everyone ultimately had
Ask Jeeves, that's what I used. I remember that. They encouraged it in school.
I learned about Google when I worked at call center for Gateway. We weren't supposed to use it, so naturally the senior tech told me about it.
You weren't allowed to use Google?
We weren't allowed to give off any information or links, and really we shouldn't have been using them at all, that weren't internal Gateway. They had their own thing, which there was never a proper solution for anyway. And half the time when you found a solution, there was a big caps, bold red at the bottom saying, I know you just read all this, but don't read it to customers. You can't tell this to customers. Like in the big red caps at the bottom and be like, don't say that. So what are you supposed to do? It's like, okay, now I know what your problem is, but now I have to lie to you. So it's like, yeah, we couldn't use Google technically.
Is CompuServe still operational?
Yeah, but mostly got.
Yes.
It looks like it, and it just had an advertisement for Netscape.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been like 3 or 4 years ago, but I ran across a dude that still had a CompuServe email address.
Yeah, but that's still AOL though. Like AOL bought CompuServe a billion years ago.
Yeah, it may be owned by AOL.
It
Yeah,
looks like
it's a
I think they
subsidiary.
bought
It's an AOL subsidiary now. Yeah.
CompuServe, Prodigy, and some others, didn't they? I know when my first ISP AOL bought was like G something, GNN, or I don't even remember. It was something that was.
Yeah, I remember that too.
A floppy disk in the mail.
It was a good ISP.
Somewhere. No, I got it from you. That's why.
Oh.
Was it GNN?
Yeah, G something.
Yeah, you probably gave me the floppy disk, wherever you got it from. Yeah, it was G something. Best dial up around in our area.
I liked those advertising supported internet ones. Those were pretty good.
Was Net Zero like that when they first came out?
Yeah, one of them, and there was somebody else, I can't remember the name anymore. It was like they would just have a little advertising bar in their status window, and you could just browse the web like regular.
I have a different story. Were you guys done with the search?
Wait, did you go through all Phoenix's?
Oh, no, I didn't.
So we just finished talking about the Yahoo reveals accounts. That's what brought us to the search engine.
Oh, well, actually, I have something different too, and it's related to our software and MindCall. But I would just completely not talk about that right now, if it's all right. I mean, just go for it. Whatever. Need to finish my coffee.
All right, well, let's finish his. Okay, so the next one up, Google employees help thousands of open source project patch critical mad gadget bug. I haven't heard of this mad gadget bug. What's the deal with this? Have you heard of it? This is also search engine related, I guess. Okay, okay, remember this is part of what was used to take over the metro system in San Francisco. And it impacted apparently it impacted Oracle, Cisco, Red Hat, VMware, IBM, Intel, Adobe, HP, Jenkins, SolarWinds. So it was a huge impact. But that's great if Google is actively reaching out to these places to assist them with getting them. Yeah, that's really nice to hear. It's so good to hear positive things, news stories,
especially about Google, which I mean, there's so many negative things I can think of off the top of my head these days.
Yeah, they shut down Spaces recently.
Really?
The brand new service they launched, the share link.
Yeah.
They shut that down.
Oh, nice. Oh gosh, I still have my link to that when I did the show. Oh, your account has not been enabled for Spaces. Little guy with no clothes on, alien thing. That's weird. Oh, yeah. Well, no, because, okay, that's a wrong browser. But still, it's not saying it's gone away.
So backwards day Glenn says that he's got a PC in his shop that was hit with fake ISP tech scam and fake blue screen of death. Very professional work. Interesting.
Oh, discontinued on April 17th, the spaces. That sucks.
Was it was the fake ISP stuff targeted at Australia? Yeah, Phoenix, I just saw that whole S3 was caused by a command line mistake. Did any of y'all get hit by that? Apparently an employee mistakenly put in a command and it broke down part of Amazon's S3 and it caused like a lot of major sites to go down. Did any of y'all get affected?
It seemed like you're talking about Australia. You're talking just everybody out there.
No, this was in America.
They claim it was on the there were East Coast outages, but I never could attribute an outage to that. Although I think we did experience some issue possibly with.
I got an email something about you may have been logged out of some services due to routine maintenance, but I don't think that actually happened.
Well, like
Phoenix said Google had trouble doing stuff because that was down. Google outsources to Amazon.
You know, I was thinking about this. I got something in the mail from something like jet.com or something. Does anyone know anything about that? Because apparently it seems like to be an online retailer like Amazon, but this reminds me of what I've been saying for several years now. Is I hate that I'm becoming more reliant on things like Amazon for purchasing household items to hosting and gee, the television, my cord cutting is all Amazon now. I mean, it's not,
well, if you're
scary. It's kind of scary. And the thing I got in the mail, I was like, gosh, man, I was like, my first reaction immediately was throw that garbage away. I don't know anything about that website, or let's just go do some research. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute. They probably won't make it beyond, as a business beyond that coupon date if they're new. And I started thinking about what I've been saying about Amazon for years. I'm like, oh gosh, they are kind of scaring me. It's like the umbrella corporation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that kind of leads right into another link that that Phoenix provided, and it's talking about the new FCC chair and views on privacy and your personal data. ISPs are in, you don't typically complain about your ISP having access to your data and the sites you go to and things like that, but ultimately they would be they would have the best access to that.
Well, actually, generally, we and
they're going to start providing all those companies like Umbrella Corporation the access to your data.
Yeah. So
but we do complain, and I mean, I know unless you're one of those people that use the ISP's email accounts and web hosting.
No, but ultimately, well, I mean, it depends on whether you use your ISP's DNS servers and some other things, but it might
web address.
It's a concern.
/user/Apereo.
But I guess we'll find out.
Warner Roadrunner back in the area Proctor's in now. Back in the day, I remember using their web hosting that came with my service. I don't remember what. Last time.
So how are you going to use the internet, Michael? Was Verizon or any of them covered by this act previous to this?
Well, yeah. So that's the thing.
ISPs.
The guy that's running the FCC now was a former Verizon employee, and he worked then as a lobbyist against net neutrality, and he was very outspoken about his hate of it. And so it's no surprise that these steps are being taken. Now there is, and it's not all completely bad though. It's possible that other laws could help replace the privacy shortcomings that this would open up with the ISPs. But until something like that were to happen, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the short term and what ISPs will do with that data. One of the worst things is that, you know, we oftentimes see this is your ISP would redirect, you know, whenever you typed in to go to a site and it wasn't found, it would take you to your ISP's basically ads about where it thought you wanted to go. And that had largely been stopped through opt-in slash opt-out issues. But it was all because of the regulation that the FCC put on those things. So it looks like we'll be going back to that and having the ISPs do way more as far as injecting stuff into your streams. And I see that happening, but again, time will tell.
Isn't that why you just use VPNs all the time?
No, no, it's a different subject.
But you wouldn't be using their DNS servers.
Yeah, I know.
And all the traffic would look like you're just going to this one VPN place.
Well, yeah, but you know, the thing is,
and it's encrypted, so they could.
There's always going to be ways for people with the technical know-how to get around some of these issues. And I'm certainly very glad for that. And there probably still will be. And there's things I can do. We can maybe change your DNS servers. You can do VPNs. You can do lots of other stuff to do that. But now then that requires that you have to have a VPN service that you might not have needed or required previously, and that increased cost to the consumers. And not everyone is technically knowledgeable or capable to set one of those things up and understand and know how to use it.
Yeah, but the more people you have using VPNs, the less likely it'll be a problem in the future.
Yeah, but then, you know, you have to worry about, we already seen how hard it is to potentially shop for a trustworthy VPN service. And, you know,
yeah, and then there'll be more awareness about that and people will do it better.
I hope so. I hope so.
It's called utopia. That's where we're all moving to.
Dystopia, I think, is more accurate, but whatever.
That's a very positive outlook on life, Michael.
I think it's pretty unrealistic to consider that we're anywhere near close to achieving utopia. Whatever. All right, can I talk about something completely different?
Sure.
Go.
I thought that's what you were doing. But
now available for Dharma ransomware.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, great. Dharma's been really bad, by the way, Phoenix, recently. So I encourage. That should be very good for all those folks out there. What I wanted to talk about was this guy. Pair that up with the actual review. That's a more broad overview of the new AMD chip that is out. But basically, the actual benchmarks, the real benchmarks. You can purchase this now and buy a motherboard and have a computer based around the Ryzen processor and AMD's AM4 chipset, which is sort of a misnomer because the Ryzen is basically a system on a chip. So the vast majority of its functionality is there's very little that needs to be added to make a complete system. In fact, it's going to be a very tiny chipset to go along with it. But the point is that I think this is overall a success for AMD, although a lot of the early articles I'm reading make some very critical judgments about a couple of things. But I truly see AMD's approach as being rather strong. And I think as much ground as they had to make up and compared to Intel, it's understandable that it wasn't absolutely perfect. But if, apparently a lot of sites thought that they would just across the board wins on everything, on every benchmark and everything. And I thought that would be unreasonable. But let me summarize the big points for you. It looks like AMD has fully embraced, multi-processing, multi-threading. They had done this a little bit previously, multi-processing side, not so much multi-threading side, but they've always been a fan of that, and they always seemingly designed better parallel architectures. But that was one of the reasons why their previous processors had been so poor, is because they were dependent upon basically parallel integer operation, and that is not necessarily the best workload to optimize for when it comes when it comes to games. So a couple of things. The clock speed's a little bit lower than Intel's high end, and so a lot of people are putting this. They want this to be a gaming processor. The problem with that is games are still generally optimized for between 2 and 4 threads. That is nowhere near capable of saturating this 16 core chip that AMD is delivering. They've delivered today and yesterday. That being the case, you have issues where the clock speed advantages of Intel's higher end chips are making it perform a lot better in games. Also, the problem is they kind of bounce back and they're a little bit more floating point performance optimized. That's going to and
Are
they're
they going to be overclockable?
I'll get to that. The integer performance
Nobody
is
cares about the integer performance of the.
well for gamers. It's a big.
I don't care.
Anyway,
What's about the overclocking?
okay. Well, they're all unlocked chips, so theoretically they could all be overclocked just by changing the multiplier to whatever you desired. Unfortunately, it looks like with that it's going to require voltage bumps to achieve even relatively modest overclocks. Like for instance, going from, I believe let me make sure I'm quoting this right. Where's their product line up here at the top? I think it is. No, wrong article. It looks like the highest end chip, which would be the 1800X, the Ryzen 7 1800X, has a 3.5 gigahertz base clock and a 4 gigahertz boost clock. They're expecting most chips to be able to hit 4.2 gigahertz. Now, that's obviously not that big of a jump, and it also requires that the voltage, the core voltage, be raised to 1.45, which may offset their huge power savings that have come with this design. So its ability to overclock in the real world, despite it being
You don't
just
have to use a pencil to use it.
No. I mean, again,
Yeah,
all these
okay.
chips will be overclocked. There's nothing artificially
Bring
blocking
back
them.
a pencil overclocking method.
Well, listen,
That was fun.
the point is, if you were intending to think you could buy a low-end Ryzen chip and overclock, it crazily and achieve the status of the highest-end chip, I don't necessarily see that happening. I guess, again, samples will tell as time goes on and we have more people try to overclock and test. We'll know this, but AMD, usually the company that produces the chips, has a good idea about its flexibility, and the early indications by AMD indicate that there's not going to be a terribly large amount of headroom in these chips unless something fundamentally changes. Maybe the next revision will have improvements to that. We'll see. But if you were complaining about the KB Lake overclocking performance in comparison to earlier Intel chips, you're not going to be impressed here because it's just as bad, if not worse. As far as the heating going out in Proctor's shop, yeah, it would appear so, but I'll let him speak for that.
He's wearing a poncho.
Oh,
It's a blanket, and I'm freezing, and it's not cold in the building. It's just me.
Oh, you probably are getting the flu then.
yeah. All right,
I
so
told you should have made your mom ride in the back seat.
the other the thing is this, though, from the high end, if you truly have a multi-threaded workload, their chips are going to be awesome. Okay, it looks like they perform at least as well as Intel chips when you're talking about those types of workloads.
Bitcoin is now worth more than an ounce of gold.
But like an ounce of Bitcoin?
No.
Like just one Bitcoin.
What do you consider one Bitcoin?
One Bitcoin. There's
Bitcoin.
That's more
fractions.
than an ounce of gold.
It's worth more than
It used to be and now it is. So it's just like Okay. I mean, it's still like the relationship doesn't like you would need to give me the increase or I don't go away.
Let's see what it's at right now.
Anyhow, I'll stop talking about it, but I just would like, I think it's largely competitive across the board, the chip, the Risen chip. I believe there's a lot of critical reviews, but
1261.
I believe there's a lot of critical reviews, but I do believe this is a very good chip, and if they continue to, tweak it, I think we'll see very affordable options. It's already caused Intel to slash their prices, and basically you can get a chip that competes with Intel's $1,000 high-end
Since
chip.
we know AMD is out
$500.
there listening to us, and all the major processor engineers of the world are listening to us right now, why don't we just tell them that we want pencil ways to overclock things, and we want their stuff to be faster and better?
I don't know why anybody would want.
Brantley, do you think that's due to ransomware being something like what some figure I read recently about like 95% of all malicious software, including traditional virus? Do you think that possibly the Bitcoin increase is because of that?
I have no idea. Maybe. It is possible.
Yeah, actually, there's a.
I mean, is it used for anything else, really?
Yeah, it is
I know
actually.
you use it for a few
Yeah,
things.
it's a money standard in Japan now. And people
Yeah.
in Europe use it in a lot of places.
There are ATMs which will accept, that'll give you cash for Bitcoins as well. Brantley was able to recently pay for his VPN service with Bitcoin.
I know he's been doing that. I know you can't take it to McDonald's though. So
There are
There
limitations.
are places where you could take it to McDonald's.
Would the employees get paid in bit? Okay, look,
It would probably like the delivery services. Like you could probably
might
pay
be
for
like
them in Bitcoin.
thing, and maybe you can use it at McDonald's in countries that their primary economy is ransomware. I don't know. I was just wondering.
It may be. I don't know. I don't know how anything's set. I don't know how they set the price of an ounce of gold. Who wants some metal?
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Who does want metal? Really, it's metal. I never figured out diamonds either.
Well, that one definitely is a fraud. But
yeah,
the metal one, the metal one are the people that are calling the diamond stuff fraud and crazy are the ones that are collecting metal too. So.
Well, actually, I mean, think about copper. Copper is more valuable than diamonds.
Yeah,
actually.
but that's because
Truly
useful.
Yeah, it's actually useful. and there's probably less of it than there is diamonds, in the earth anyway. So
I think there's a lot more copper than there are diamonds.
you think?
Yeah.
Now I don't know what there is on copper really. I guess there's a shortage or something, but I understood the whole diamond fact that there aren't like diamonds shouldn't even be a precious stone. It should be like a rock, and you should pave your driveway with them or something. Is what I understood it really to be before De Beers and the marketing and the 5 companies that are actually De Beers or something, and you know what I mean. The whole slave thing and diamond trade. I'm just gonna go away now. I haven't seen
I
that.
was gonna say,
It's been a decade since I watched that.
So here's one thing I would like to say about it. If like saying that ransomware and things like that are increasing Bitcoin, is they have the choice of any 1,000 of cryptocurrency to choose from. Why would they all de facto choose Bitcoin if it wasn't a variable, valuable way to get money in and out?
There are other digital what?
There's like tons of different digital currencies.
Yeah, you could make your own if you want.
Yeah, you can
Well,
have
I'm
your
sure
own.
you can. Yeah, I know, but what?
I'm just saying,
with that.
what makes it so that the ransomware people would want to use it is because it does have value and worth to people outside of places.
Well, see, I kind of felt like in the beginning it really didn't, and that's why it's like it just didn't matter. So they were like, "Hey, we're extorting you for what? Nothing, like just give us some paper." It's fine. I kind of felt like it was like, hey, let's go out on a limb and just use this and see if it works. And then it just did, and now it's like a currency. I mean, I know it was before, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like a why not?
So, like, you're thinking this would be a way to mine Bitcoin, is to have started off just creating a ransomware to do it?
I'm saying they probably created it, the currency itself. Really made it.
I don't know. But the other side of it is if it's working so well, because obviously if they're increasing it, they're making money off of it right now, right?
Oh yeah.
So if Bitcoin's working so well,
Well, let me
that
just.
actually is a testament.
I'm just going. I know this is not really comparable, but I'm going to throw it out there. When you artificially make something valuable in your mind, it
Isn't that exactly what the dollar is?
Well,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be based on a reserve, but and like I'm not sure of all of that. I know it's not based on gold anymore anyway. But
No, yeah, okay.
yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is
It's
that
not based on a reserve of anything. It's
well,
complete.
I'm totally aware of that, Michael. I know that much, but it was. And what I'm saying now is that just let me throw this out there: baseball cards, collectible items, things like that. Imagine my comic collection is. I didn't do the baseball cards, but my stepdad did. He used to have a thing, and I mean, cards worth $5,000-$10,000 for a card or a set of cards or something like that. You can't give away right now, and they're supposed to go up, and but these people have artificially created these things, this value. It's going to go away is all I'm saying. Gosh, I have $4,000 cover price probably worth of comic books back there or something that might be inflating it a little bit, but I couldn't get $5 for it. I mean, really the book value on it even now is wow, but I give it to my kid and he can tear it up. That's fine. He didn't even have to use the nice back and sleeves I have anymore. Why? You know, I thought that was currency when I was younger.
That's true.
Just saying.
Yeah, so there's no
You know how many?
basis.
You know how many first issues of Spawn I got?
I will say that
How many did you get?
I don't know, maybe 3 or 5, but still, the first Todd McFarlane Spider-Man series even. But it's like, and I was so late to the game, and I've got hand-me-downs from cousins, Incredible Hulk that weren't, still, it's artificial. It'll go away, I feel. And I know the dollar will too, but
Or it'll come back.
it could.
Everybody could decide they like comic books again.
Well, they now it's just about movies. But what about the baseball cards? And people still I guess occupy themselves with sports ball and stuff like that. So
Sports ball.
yeah, So, I mean, there's like rookie cards and things, but they're not worth anything anymore. I mean,
They could be.
coin collections, even actual currency coins.
All that stuff could be worth something, and it's depending on the people and timing and everything out there. So
All depends on if you're able to find someone that's willing to buy it at any particular
if you're willing
price.
to think anything is a currency, then you should be willing to accept that one is just as good as the other.
Yeah, you got a point. It boils down to trade, really. I mean, I'll give you 2 rocks for 2 logs.
Yeah.
We'll trade. You have to figure that out. I don't see. I don't know.
The thing is that
But
it's
the other side of it too is that companies could be out there buying up Bitcoin right now so that they can be prepared for if ransomware attacks hit.
I'm pretty sure that's where part of the value came from.
There is some, but I believe the reason they rely upon it is solely based upon the anonymity of the transactions and the difficulty in tracking those types of things in comparison to more traditional currencies, and that's going to be the primary reason they need to get their money.
And that's why I feel like the criminals have made this more valuable than it should be. Or would
But
of course, anytime you use a currency,
be able to handle currency anonymously, and now you have a way to do that. Is it right that every country that you use currency in, it's like monitored and obstructed? You can't trade with anyone around the world outside of your own government without going through a government?
oh, remember, we have a shorter show. We need to move on.
Yes, and actually I have to run like pretty much right now, so I'm gonna bow out. Michael, the D support suite revision that I gave you to fix the problem that you ambushed me with on the last show. If you want to just throw that out there or something, if it's still working good, I actually put that on the web server. Should I? Never. We'll talk. I guess we'll talk about it on Tuesday.
We'll talk about it on Tuesday, but the sooner that can be published, the better. Although I would like.
Do you think it is working well? Have you?
I haven't found a problem with it yet, but I really would like a second set of eyes. I feel like Proctor would be a better.
Phoenix, do you use? I was hoping that Glenn would be in the chat, and I don't see him.
He is.
He's backwards, Glenn.
Yeah, he's doing it backwards.
Oh, that's Glenn. Michael, Brantley, can y'all? It's on the download server. Brantley, you can find it.
Okay.
It's in the DSS folder. It's got a name of some sort. If you want to shoot him that link, that would be awesome. I got to run. I will, if you want to test it, Glenn. You know the problem, Michael. You can tell him about it. I got to go.
Thanks. Yeah, Glenn, so if you're still there and still listening, which looks like you are at least still logged in, the problem was basically the list manipulation. If you have a bunch of client IDs and you wanted to sort them, the two sorting options under the list menu basically crashed the interface. That being the case, that should be resolved. But basically, we just needed to give it put it through its steps. And so, if you could try to use it for a little bit of time and report back anything you find, that would be great. And the sooner we can get that information back, the sooner we can confirm, the sooner we can publish it and move on. It's just a relatively big change to it. However, there's a big code size change, but I don't know how that impacted the operation so much.
What's
I think
the version number, Michael?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me. Let's see. What is the version number? 1760, I think.
And that's the one that's updated?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is available here. And that fixes the sorting issue?
Yes, I have confirmed and tested that without a problem. What I'm a little bit more concerned about is all the other functionality. But again, my early testing didn't find anything, which I was just, again, because of the code size change, I was a little bit shocked at. But if it works, it works. And there's been a ton of apparently background improvements. There's so many revisions. The last release of prior to this was 17015. So you can
that is a lot.
Make some other improvements that you guys can find. If you can, certainly let me know.
You might need a second opinion.
Yeah, you'll need to extract that to your, you'll basically need to extract that to your installation folder. Basically, it's not going to touch your existing exe, so you'll have a great fallback in case you find a problem with it. So it'll have a different exe with the version number and the name of it, and you'll just double click on that. Now, it does have different dependencies, but it's my understanding that you can just overwrite all those dependencies in the folder, and it shouldn't impact the old version either. It's also supposed to have some it's supposed to have the manifests for the dependencies, so in that sense it should work better, sort of more forward thinking as far as dependency requirements.
Okay, So let us know if you have any problems.
And the last link that I posted was unrelated to the support suite, but it's shocking to me how in 2017 a patent for out-of-office emails can be obtained by IBM.
What's wrong with that?
Well, because they claim to have invented it in 2010, and I'm pretty sure we all know that out-of-office emails have been used way before that. Way before that, almost
Is
since
that
the
what they
inception
filed
of
a
email.
patent for?
What's that?
They filed a patent for out-of-office email. That's what they called it.
Yeah, they made a minor change, so now their system basically can pre-notify you of being out of the office. So that's the addition they made. But that's so freaking trivial. First of all, I'm totally against all software patents, but again, that's my opinion.
Pre what?
But so yeah, so basically it'll send a notification out to tell people, hey, I'll be leaving, so you're not going to get a response from me after this date.
So you can email me back right away if you need to talk to me. That's a terrible feature.
I agree, but how the hell can you get a patent for this without? It seems like a gross miscarriage of prior art research, and it shows the inherent flaws of our patent system, and again highlights the whole issue of software patents, which I don't.
Did someone else have a patent for out-of-office emails already?
Probably not, because of the reasons I gave. There's so much prior art dating almost back to the inception of email itself, not even prior to the internet. So I just didn't know if anybody else had thoughts about that. But anyway, that's
Not
all.
really.
It's just frustrating, when these large companies can post patents and not, I don't like patents that don't have products to go along with them, and I certainly don't like patents again that cover software, because potentially them filing a patent for software can impact you if you never copied a piece of code or done anything else. So if you developed a system, if D7, let's say, sent out a notification, a pre-notification about being away or not being, whatever, they could potentially legally target you and claim damages against you. And that is so wrong, because there's a million different ways to write the same piece of code. You can't just broadly say that somebody is copying you because they, I don't think it works. I don't think it should work that way, and it prevents. And
Isn't it the process that it goes through that they're copywriting, not in the code itself?
yeah, it's the process. Look at this patent.
I mean, anybody could write email, or anybody could write books and stuff, and they could come up with the same words. Anyway, look, a bunch of people researched password managers on Android and found out that they were terrible. They have all fixed all those issues, though, according to what it says. But people like LastPass, Keeper Password, F-Secure's Password, Dashlane, Vast Passwords, 1Password, all of those had significant password issues.
I'm not a big fan of using those, although I understand the need for them.
KeePass wasn't up there, though.
Yeah, that's the one we use and would recommend, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we are past our 30-minute time limit for our shows now. Did we have anything else we wanted to wrap up with? Oh, we released a big update for CryptoPrevent.
Yeah, big update for CryptoPrevent. 3.8031 is now the current release. Everyone should update their copies. Let us know if there's done anything. I also wanted to mention that Windows 10 looks like in that creator update that's going to come out in a couple of months. It's going to have some more flexible options for doing updates where you'll be allowed to, it won't, just forcibly reboot your computer. You have more options for picking a time for the reboot or snoozing. So looks like that'll be a welcome feature and it might avoid certain frustrations that have been expressed here and otherwise.
Good.
Oh, and the 98 wristwatch, that is kind of a fun thing. Another walk down memory lane, so to speak, seeing Windows 98 blue screen of death. It's a little bit bigger than the modern watches, but it's a nice little way to. This guy's got an outline of how to fully, build it from scratch, and it's, of course, like many projects like this, it's based on a Raspberry Pi. So that's our SBC news of the day as well.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and wrap it up for today.
All right.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back on Tuesday. I think it's going to be the 7th. Yep, Tuesday the 7th. And again, we are here mainly to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. Glenn, let us know how that DSS console works out for you. And then also, if you need us otherwise, you can contact our support via the various means on our website. And if not, you can wait until Tuesday to talk to us directly at 10 a.m. So, thanks everyone for joining us. Take us on out, Proctor.
All right.
If you can manage in your poncho.